Hey everyone, welcome back to the next installment of Dubbed Drink Up, Burn Down. Paul Horn, Steve Kwan, Chad Narani. Today, we're talking football. Today, we're talking fantasy football. We'll always do cigars, and we're talking about our favorite football beer. Like, why do we like drinking these beers while we watch football? So again, what are you guys drinking on today?
All right, so I'm drinking the St. Bernardus ABT 12. It's a Belgian quad beer. It's actually made by monks in Belgium. That's what they say. All I know is the beer is really damn tasty and is by far my favorite beer.
My choice for me today was Tangerine Express. It's a hazy IPA, just right here from a local brewery, a Stone Brewery that is. And I just like the full flavor, and it goes really well with this cigar, which we'll talk about in a minute.
Yep. And so we were gonna do favorite, and so one of us almost brought like a Corona, some light beer, but frankly, man, I love IPAs too. So unfortunately, we're doing two IPAs. I did Ballast Point's Sculpin IPA, one of my favorite all-time IPAs. I also love their Grapefruit Sculpin IPA, also local here, right in San Diego. Their Long Beach location's fantastic as well. Actually shaped like a Ballast, which is so cool. It's a fun fact. They are the ones that sold for $1 billion, which is probably the most overpriced brewery purchase ever, because they haven't recognized that value at all.
I disagree. Come on, beer is pretty damn important.
It is.
The beer's good. The food's great at the place.
Yeah,
so
$1 billion.
I
say it's still undervalued.
Whatever. Don't get it wrong, man. I love it, but yeah, too much. Too rich for my blood. So with that in mind, what are we smoking on, guys?
So today we are smoking a Cohiba Red Dot, and there's an interesting smoke to this actually, because I discovered this particular Red Dot as after I tried a Robusto size, and I thought I was crazy. So I got my colleagues together and I said, hey guys, I don't know if my taste buds are changing or whatnot, but the Churchill size smokes and tastes, and also, the sensation of just the whole experience is completely different than the one of the Robusto. So, I had my colleague Paul, test out my my insanity there. And Paul, what did you think?
I completely agree. I actually have the Robustos. I think you may have gotten the Robusto from me. Yeah, the draw is smoother on this one, more full flavors. It's just a better built cigar. There's just something about the bigger size on some of these cigars. You just get better flavors, better quality, I think, than the Robustos.
Arguably, this is like my top 3 cigars of all times, and I would never say that in the history.
Which is out of nowhere, by the way. Like, this is like a brand new find, and he goes, guys, like, I don't even want to put this thing down. And he's smoking it like it's a Cuban at his fingertips. It's freaking weird.
And luckily for me, I bought a whole box, and so I was able to share it amongst these freeloaders. And guess what? After the first time, they said, "Whoa, Steve, I got to try this again." So I gave them another one, of course, for free, and and they all agree with me. This is like a very, very good smoke. And usually you have like the first initial stage of lighting it, and it's okay, but right off the gate, you're hit with that, medium flavor, and it's consistent almost through the middle, and then it just gets better from the middle all the way to the nub. I mean, we're talking about, I'm smoking this to the nub where my fingernails are turning brown and they are scorched with heat because I don't want to put this thing down.
Yep. No, they're great, man. They're a little bit more on the pricey side, but certainly well worth the money. I think Cohiba has really been stepping up their game lately with the Black Dots, the Nicaraguas. Blanking on the name of the new one that they released earlier, a few months ago. It's in the black tube. So they have, their Cubans have always been good. Their non-Cubans now, I think the quality has been coming up, at least this year. That's what I've been noticing. The Red Dots, like when we talk about like the small cigars, the cigarillos, the Red Dot little cigarillos are my favorite when I'm looking at the smaller cigars.
Mm-hmm.
So across the board, I think for the price point and quality, this is the way to go if you're going to get a Cohiba.
Absolutely.
Okay, guys, so let's get into the actual topic today. So these gentlemen got jerseys. I'm the dick. Forgot my jersey. I'm an Eagles fan, so it's probably better I don't have a jersey because we all know that. We share in misery when you're a Philadelphia Eagles fan. Fortunately, we're doing pretty good with the first win after week 1, so that's freaking awesome. Paul's Patriots fan? Why?
So my family's from the East Coast. Growing up, my family cheered for the Boston teams. I cheered for the Boston teams because that's what my family did. So even though I grew up in LA, cheered for the Celtics, cheered for the Bruins, cheered for the Boston Red Sox and Patriots through the bad years and the good years. So we had some great years. Now we're kind of in the not so good years.
Yeah.
Did you cheer for them when they had the ugly logo with the guy hiking the ball? And that look on his face.
It wasn't as bad as the old Oilers logo. So,
The actual
yes.
It's actually like one of my favorite moments in football was watching the Eagles beat the Patriots for the Super Bowl a few years ago. Freaking awesome.
The only thing worse than that was the fucking helmet catch. Jesus.
No, the best part about that win was after that season, they got rid of your quarterback, the MVP. I guess they didn't want to win anymore.
For Carson Wentz, man. What a fail. Look at him now.
That is a fail.
Okay, so Steve, you're Steelers.
I am a Steelers fan,
Yeah.
and I'm a Steelers fan based on the virtue of, selecting my first football trading cards, and it happened to have a Steelers inside. So, I mean, the irony to all that is that I could have been a Dallas fan. I could have been a
We would
Eagles
be friends
fan.
with you if you're Dallas, so.
I could have been a Raiders fan. Ugh.
No Dallas, man. Sorry.
But you know what I mean? Like it was just divine intervention. I think it picked me, and now I have generations. You know, my son's a diehard Steelers fan. My grandkids are
dating
Steelers
himself. You heard that.
Yeah.
fans. Yeah, and so Steelers all the way, and they're doing great, by the way.
Yeah, and so I'm an Eagles
Just like
fan.
last year.
Even coming from Southern California, I actually grew up a Rams fan. Then the Rams left. Who leaves Los Angeles from a sports market for St. Louis for a sports market? And they did that for 20 years. Like, what a fail. So even after coming back, I just can't get back on that bandwagon and go back to a team that ditched LA for St. Louis, only to come back 20 years later. And when they were gone, I was actually moving out to Philadelphia. And the Eagles, man, it's just like unfortunate that I had to be going to Philadelphia because they're like the worst team in the league at the time. And unfortunately, within a matter of a couple of years, we got Donovan McNabb, and the team turned around. So it was actually a lot of fun living in Philadelphia, rooting for the Eagles. Even though we never actually won while we were there, we got close. And, it's Eagle fan, man, other than that one Super Bowl, it's basically heartbreak every single year. Second half team every week.
Sounds like a woe is me moments.
I think that's part of the requirement to be an Eagles fan.
Yeah, exactly.
Know how to cry and know how to put a smile on after a game. Otherwise, your Sunday's ruined every Sunday.
Yeah.
That's how it goes. But not now, because we won. So,
They won one game. Big deal.
whatever.
Actually, we all just won one game. Patriots lost to the Dolphins, which is fun to watch. I think.
It was a good game. Sucked losing by 1 point. I was actually glad to see Mac Jones look good. I don't know if you guys saw the preseason photos of him, like pre-draft. After he won the championship, he has his shirt off. He has the dad bod with the cigar. It was a little touch and go with my thoughts on him, but so far so good. Hopefully he maintains that. We'll
Does
see.
that remind you of Brady? Wasn't he like that kind of beer belly, and
Just not so much beer belly, just no body.
When he started, that's
Yeah,
fair.
yeah. But Mac Jones was like, he looked like a 38-year-old
we
with
don't
like
want to talk
four.
about Mac Jones. He sucks.
Yeah.
This is not a Mac Jones. No, he's gonna get
He's gonna get
clobbered.
for fantasy.
Remember
Jones-
these words, and in 2 or 3 years when we win the Super Bowl, just remember we had this conversation.
And when he gets cut in just 2 months, remember this too.
So with that, guys, let's talk fantasy because I know we're in 2 fantasy leagues together. We got a brand new dubbed Gridiron League. We got another league called the Shiva 2, named after that popular The League TV show where we had to hijack that name. So with that, guys, how's your teams doing after week 1?
well, go ahead.
Okay, we're not gonna talk about Shiva League for sure. Okay, because that's what the Dub League is for.
Okay, that's
We're
fair.
only gonna do the Dub League. So
I'm fine with that because I won in that league, so it sounds good.
I lost them both, so it doesn't actually matter.
and that's fine. So, we actually created a fantasy football league just for this, just for this show. But also, we want to only invite the people that are friends, family, and so in this league, it is a keeper league. We decided on a 2-player keeper, and for the first time for these guys, they've never done a auction draft before.
It was so fun, man. The way to draft is auction draft. Screw the old snake draft. It's just not worth it.
Oh, you should have heard them 2 weeks before the draft. What the heck is this? What the heck is that? This is so stupid. I don't understand.
Hey, that wasn't us, man.
Nobody said
That was
none
you.
of
That was Tom and Chase.
It was all you guys. I've never done this before.
Well, it's not me. I was that sweet. I'm
Let's
on
try
board.
it.
Awesome. But yeah, I mean, the draft was very, very surprisingly fair, right? I mean, it wasn't so much based on luck. If you wanted somebody, you could pay for it essentially. But the whole idea was the art of not paying too much and getting value, players, especially towards the end. And for those of you that have done auction drafts, you'll know that at the end, whoever has the most money really hoards up the mid and upper mid, if there are any. And it's all about maintaining and managing your finances, which these guys have no idea on how to do.
Really? I thought I did pretty well there. I think the worst player on my team was Robbie Anderson. I think that's a good mid-level.
He completely missed what I just said.
We work in money, man.
There you go.
Long ass day, another drink. Here we go.
Here.
Salute. Here. So let's get this crap out of the way right now, man.
All right. I'm gonna explain this. Okay, so when we drafted and we were all pumped about our teams, and we were actually going through the whole notion of, hey, I bet you this and I bet you that, and what is fantasy football without a little wager, right? So we decided to put something fun together. We said, okay, in this dub league, okay, whoever loses out of the three of us,
because we do have a 12-team league, but out of the three of us,
the worst score for the week,
yes,
how
has to drink a shot of nobody's favorite Jose Cuervo Gold.
It's the only reason we will ever put that bottle on this show, because nobody really wants to drink Jose
It's
Cuervo
disgusting. It's disgusting. This is the reason why I'm so motivated never to ever not set up my lineup or not work the waiver wire, not check the free agent. I mean, I just want to avoid that. And that's the whole purpose of this entire season. So, knock on iron, wood, whatever's in front of you. I'm going to make sure that I never take a shot of Jose Cuervo Gold.
We'll see how that works out.
So, yeah, we'll see. The guy with the big mouth. By the way, he's going to have to take a shot because he had the lowest score in the first week. Do you remember what that score was? I doubt it because it was so low, I can't remember either.
It was terrible.
Was it less than 100
not
points?
To the top.
Oh, okay. No, all the way up to the top. And you're gonna cry in front of people. Look at this,
maybe.
guys.
No chase.
So we also made a rule with this to make it sting even more. No lime,
No chaser.
no salt.
No chaser.
I mean, I have an IPA right there. That's gonna work.
Okay.
But who chases a shot of tequila
Watch him spill some.
With a beer.
with a beer?
Have fun.
Like
with that.
nobody wants to do this, man.
Smile for the camera.
Ew, your breath.
Disgusting, guys. It's so bad.
I think this will last a season.
I think so.
The question
It
is,
should
who's going to
actually.
drink this next week?
We'll see, man.
Hopefully not me, man.
With my big ass mouth, it's probably going to be me. That's how you do it. All right, guys. So let's get into some of our league scoring because I know that a lot of our viewers, right, watch fantasy football or play fantasy football, right? Be it in an actual league or daily fantasy football, all that kind of stuff. And so we play on the Yahoo platform. That all started because we actually started on ESPN years ago in a different league, and they didn't used to have fractional points, and we love fractional points. We moved to Yahoo. Apparently ESPN brought back fractional points, but we're already on the Yahoo platform. It has the history and all that kind of fun stuff. So we're on Yahoo's platform, but honestly, we just don't agree with a lot of Yahoo's default scoring rules.
As far as the default is concerned, I do challenge and question a little bit about how those defaults, settings work. But
Specifically, what default
So think
settings?
think a kicker, for instance, right? On a
I
field goal,
like this, yeah.
on a field goal, if you make a field goal, you get the points, 3, 4, 5, right, for 30, 40, 50 yards, whatever it is. But if you miss a field goal, you lose nothing. Now, frankly, if you miss a 20-yard field goal, you should lose like 20 points. Like, that's the dumbest shit ever. It's so
That
easy.
is so true.
So ask Dallas kicker how that felt this week.
I get it, man. But
That's 20 points. I love that. You mix a field goal inside 20 yards. You should not only get 20 points, but you should also
you should be fired.
not be able to start another kicker for
If he
next
didn't
week.
hit that final field goal, man, I think he would have been out of a job.
Possibly. But that's the thing. So what we do, we don't actually make it minus 20 points. But it's like, what, minus 4 or 5?
Minus 3.
If it's a 3 within 20. If you miss it within 30, it's minus 2.
Yeah.
And outside of 40 or 50, we said that's just a hard kick for anybody, so we don't actually penalize. Right, but the Yahoo default to miss a kick and not lose points is just pure stupidity.
So we changed that.
So we changed
As co-commissioners, we said, nope, we're going to make this like a fumble. As a matter of fact, it's going to be like more than a fumble. You miss inside. Let me tell you something. My basketball team, when we did Hell Week on the football field, we got to kick a 25-yard field goal, right, just for kicks and giggles. All but one missed it. And this was high school.
Missed it?
No. I'm sorry. All but one
Made
made it.
There you go.
Yeah. But anyways, so it's not that hard to kick a field goal, at that range. So, yeah, I think that's horrible. I think that person should be shot.
Right, noting that for the league, it doesn't matter if it's windy conditions and snowy conditions. Like, obviously that gets harder. But frankly, this is what they do for a living. Their only job is to kick field goals. They should not miss something inside 20 yards. That's nonsense. Right, the other one, Yahoo doesn't give you points for big plays, right? Like, honestly, anything over 40 yards should get an extra point, right? Like, even if you don't score a touchdown, it's still worth a point because you had a huge play, right? We penalize extra for fumbles, like -2 points instead of 1 point. Same thing for interceptions. What's the other big ones we do? Okay, defensive teams and the players running the ball back, right? So technically, on like a punt or a kickoff, right? Yahoo doesn't give the defensive team or the player running the ball back any points for that unless they score a touchdown. So if they run it all the way back to the end zone, they get 6 points for the touchdown. But at the end of the day, why wouldn't they get the same yards that a receiver and running back would get, right? Like, you want to draft a receiver who also runs the ball back, and every time they're on the offense, they get a point for every 10 yards. They get 6 points for a touchdown. Their body's at risk. But if they're on special teams, you're saying they get nothing for running the ball back? If their body's at risk, they should get points.
So to your point, how many times has a defensive player or a defense that you're starting, recovered a fumble or intercepted a pass and got tackled, shoestring tackle on the 1 yard line? I mean, after running like 80 yards, right? I mean, that to me should not negate that effort.
Correct.
and those net yards. You know what I mean? So we did change it, and we're giving credit where credit should be due.
Correct. Body's at risk. You get the points no matter what. So it's also from a draft perspective. It makes certain receivers and running
backs.
backs.
Why do you keep saying body at risk? As a fan, drinking 12 drinks a day, that's body at risk. Fans have more risk than players. I'm sorry.
Sure, buddy.
Okay.
Whatever you think, man.
Just saying.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Cool, guys. So, hopes for fantasy teams week 2. We projected to win? Win?
Win.
Oh, yeah.
I'm projected to win, too.
Yeah. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes.
So I want to talk a little bit about auction draft strategy.
I was just going to mention that.
Because when you do auction drafts, it just changes things. Where if you're doing snake, it's typically, best player available, right?
Yep.
Unless you have a need at a position. Well, auction, every player is available to you. So where do you put your money? And it's interesting because in the league that we run, you have to have 2 wide receivers. You have to have 2 running backs. So it makes it a little bit deeper. You have to pay a little bit more attention. It's a little harder to do like 0 RB strategies or things like that. What was your guys' strategy going into the draft?
Draft running backs.
Well, yeah, and same for me. But let me tell you where shit just went downhill. When everyone was overpaying on running backs, and I said, okay,
CMC
you know what?
went for $66.
That's
Yeah.
actually
Which is
decent.
great, but Dalvin Cook for $59.
But, so, I had to, pivot and say, hey, listen, I got to work up a different strategy. So I went after hoarding all the quarterbacks and also a couple of really, really good tight ends.
How many QBs do you have on your team?
I have 3.
What are those 3 QBs' names?
Kyler Murray, Lamar Jackson, and Aaron Rodgers.
He's just looking for trade value, man. Can you get a quarterback? Because nobody was willing to bid on quarterbacks.
And I will
So
get
And
trade
that
value.
is why
You got
I
him for
started
like
Sam
$20.
Darnold and won week 1.
Hey, I got Russell
You had a
Wilson.
bad matchup. You had one of the lowest scores. You just had an easy matchup. But you can't rest your laurels on that. You know that, right?
Oh, I know that.
Yeah. Okay.
So
And by the way, in our league, the top scorers really do get glorified. In fact, every week we have the highest score bounty, and we pay that manager $20. And also at the end of the season, they're granted $100, which is almost their entire
Whichever
investment fee.
team at the end of the regular season has the most points gets $100. And the idea there is that, technically speaking, you could always have the second most points in the league, right? And always have played the team that had the most and not make the playoffs. Like, imagine that. So that actually happened in our work league a few years ago, where the team that had the most points didn't even make the playoffs. And we put 8 teams in the playoffs. Like, that's almost impossible to fathom that. And they didn't make the playoffs. So because of that, we instituted this new rule where they should at least get paid. Like, you shouldn't have paid to play fantasy if you had the best team. Like, most points means you had the best team. You just had shitty matchups, which is like football, right? The best team doesn't always win in football. It's all about your matchups.
That's not true. Steelers always win because they're the best.
Wow.
I mean, we know where this comes from, of course. An Eagles fan.
And then we saw how the second half of that league went.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Oh, you just got a magical coach. That's what it is. I mean, that coach can coach anything.
Obviously
Belichick?
not, because
I
clearly
think
it was
it's
Brady.
I'm
Brady
being
left
sarcastic.
and
I'm
won
being
the Super Bowl.
sarcastic.
Is that debate Brady or Belichick? I think Brady answered that last year.
That
Yeah.
was put to bed.
So where's his hoodie now? Exactly. Where's the Jedi Force now? Exactly.
So the other one we do is half point PPR,
We do.
right? And so like the reason there, right, is we have leagues that are no PPR, but it definitely does change the game, right? Because some running backs catch a lot of passes. It's even more valuable to have that running back that catches passes. Some of those short plays are ultra valuable if you get a point for PPR. But the reason we do half point is just I don't believe that you should get a full point just to catch, right? That you do a short pass to the outside for 1 yard, and they get 10 yards worth of points. That's bullshit. It's just not a thing.
Well, I mean, that's the great thing about fantasy football, right? Is you can play in the league that has the scoring that you look for. I've played in a tight end premium league before, and that's really interesting. What also is fun, I've had a lot of fun with, is 2 QB leagues.
I hated those. We had one of those years ago,
and he just was not a
hated
fan of it.
There's not enough good quarterbacks to make that.
That's the
worthwhile.
point.
It
That
just
is the
makes
point.
it so interesting at that point. Cause,
That is the point.
yeah, I enjoyed them.
One more thing we forgot to mention is that we also have a weekly bounty between the three of us. Okay, so it is a what is it? Is it $5 or $10?
It's $5 per league.
$5.
It's $5 per person, and guess who won the first week? I did. So
That's fair, but so we put that bet on both leagues, and I won the other league. Steve won the dub league. Paul had to pay out $5 to both of us, but I'm the sucker that had to drink a shot of Jose Cuervo.
So there you go.
there you go.
So I feel like
so you actually won.
I'll consider that
Yeah.
a win.
You actually won. I would have
I'm
paid
not drinking
$5 not
shit.
to drink that.
I ain't drinking that shit. I'm
Yeah.
good.
I think we're due for a Hawaiian theme, and whoever loses should wear a Hawaiian skirt. I don't know. That may be in discussions.
That is fantastic.
Right?
Oh, I hope I don't lose next week. Damn it. All right, guys. Leave in the comments. Let us know your thoughts. Do you like the scoring? What are your scoring ideas that can make our league even better if we think about them for next year? Who's your favorite football team and why? With that, everyone, thank you so much.
Drink up, burn down.
One thing I think we should do is if we get enough viewers this year interested, having a viewer league next year could be a lot of fun.
Ooh.
That could be a lot of fun.
Ooh.
Because then we can ante up the comments, talk trash all over YouTube.
Not only that, though, we should also do some prop bets as well.